UFC de Ridder versus Allen just wrapped up, and Reinier de Ridder quite literally melted. Had what, in my opinion, may be the biggest moment of, let's just say it how it is, quitting that I've seen in a long time. And I don't understand it. We just got done with the collab. I just did a big collab with the MMA Guru and Bedtime MMA. It went very well. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure a lot of you guys tuned in. I had a great time. This was a good card. This was a very solid card. And I'll be honest, even though the main event ended in a TKO, like, let's be honest, the main event was a fucking stinker. But I just don't understand. Like, I understand de Ridder was starting to lose it in this fight, that Allen was taking over. He was starting to dominate. He had all the momentum. If you didn't watch this fight, essentially what happened is Reinier de Ridder dominated the first round, taking Brendan Allen's back, mogging him on the ground, beating him up as well. Second, third round, de Ridder was able to get dominant positions. Brendan Allen was able to reverse the positions, keep dominant control. Fourth round, Brendan Allen went out there, took Reinier de Ridder down, picked him up, slammed him down. Going into the fifth round, I thought there was going to be a fifth. Brendan Allen didn't do any damage in the fourth, and Reinier de Ridder just quits on the stool, just says that's it. And I don't remember the last time I've seen that in a UFC fight. It'd be one thing if this guy just went to war and he took 100 significant strikes to the chin, all solid, flushly landed uppercuts. Brendan Allen just controlled him and smudged him on the ground a bit, put a pace on him on the ground. I get it. That's uncomfortable, but I do not see that often. It was actually kind of shocking. So yeah, this was kind of an anticlimactic fight. I was shocked. Like, I couldn't believe it, especially because Reinier de Ridder had so much hype going into this fight. He had the aura. He had the grit. He seemed like the last kind of guy to break to some grappling pressure, which wasn't even that over the top. And Brendan Allen gets it done. Crazy work from Brendan Allen. The experience in the UFC has paid off. This is a big win for Brendan Allen, stepping in on a month's notice to get this one done. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with Brendan Allen. I've always said that this guy's been underrated. I did pick against him, but I did pick Reinier de Ridder to win this, edging out a 48-47 decision. But Allen just proves again he's underrated. More underrated than I thought he was, and I was saying he was underrated going into this. But Reinier de Ridder, just a horrible performance. And I don't know, man. Like, I just expected Reinier de Ridder to be able to go out there down 3-1 in the fifth round and just try to make something happen. It wasn't even like he was that damaged, so it was a very strange main event. But a good win for Brendan Allen. He called out Dricus du Plessis. Those guys have a beef. And I'd love to see that fight for Reinier de Ridder. I don't know what's next for him. Maybe Adesanya. That could be interesting. But, yeah, Reinier de Ridder looked good early. But, again, that's the last guy I would expect to break, especially due to, like, getting tired, wilting. I mean, Reinier de Ridder was the guy that I thought was one of the best in this division at putting on a crazy pace. So, very weird main event outcome, you know? Not just that Allen won, but, like, the way that it ended. Very strange. Let's get on to Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott. Mike Malott looked really good. Mike Malott piecing up Kevin Holland, showcasing his speed advantage. And then there's like a weird groin shot landed to the midsection for Mike Malott. Now, some people are saying, oh, it could have clipped the cup. You know, maybe it was one of those weird ones where it clipped the cup on the way up. It ended up looking like it landed on the midsection. But I really don't think that was a nut shot. But then again, I don't think Kevin Holland's the kind of guy to just totally bullshit about it. It probably did bother him a little bit, but it looks like he's out there milking it a little bit. There's a moment where Kevin Holland really looked to be milking it and coping in there. But then he decides to get back in the fight. And Mike Malott just kind of outcrafts him, beats him to the punch, speed mogs him a little bit. Kevin Holland had some good moments in round 2. It was close in round 2. And then round 3, Mike Malott makes it close early on in the first couple of minutes and then shoots a takedown, outgrapples Kevin Holland for the end of that round and wins himself a decision. And I thought this was very impressive for Mike Malott because even though we knew he was fast, even though we knew he was good on the feet, and sometimes, yeah, Kevin Holland does look sloppy on the feet, it is very impressive to see someone with a reach disadvantage, a height disadvantage, to go out there and outbox Kevin Holland and tag him up with clean strikes and look pretty easy, effortless at doing that as well. So I thought this was a great performance. I thought Mike Malott looked great. And I still think this guy is going to be a problem in the welterweight division. Does that mean he's going to be a champ? I don't know if he's looking like a future champ, but he looks like someone that I could see being a staple in the top 10. I think he's knocking on the top 10's door. As we get on to the robbery of the night. I thought this was a robbery. Marlon Vera early on went out there and it looked like Amin Zahabi was on survival mode. It looked like Amin Zahabi was literally just in there, but wasn't actually looking to win. Like, Marlon Vera was stalking him down, putting the pressure on him. And Amin Zahabi was kind of getting bitched around. He was kind of getting pipsqueaked around a little bit. But second round, Amin Zahabi starts working his way back in and starts getting off, some gritty combinations. But I believe Marlon Vera hurts him in the second round. He's up 2-0. Amin Zahabi has a nice scrap with Marlon Vera in the third round. But Marlon Vera, in my opinion, clearly won the first round. I remember I'm there with Guru. I'm there with Bedtime. We're talking about how Zahabi has nothing. And that it looks like this guy's just not got the fight in him tonight. He looks scared. He looks tentative. Vera's marching him down. He's the only one that's actually staying busy on the feet. He clearly wins the first round. Second round, he has his big moment. Third round, whatever. It was a close round. But, how the fuck did Zahabi win this? I think that's some Canada privilege. I honestly thought this was a bit of a robbery. But either way, let's get on to the next one. Fiorot. Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Big KO for Fiorot. I picked Jasmine Jasudavicius to get this one done by a grappling victory. I looked at her as one of the only women's fighters that actually consistently gets finishes. But you know what? If you're getting a lot of finishes, you're taking a lot of risks. And Jasmine Jasudavicius put herself in the fire. Got caught with a nasty Fiorot combination. She met fire and fury. She got sent down to the fucking canvas and got KO'd. Oh no, dude. Davy Grant. This was a sad one. I did the Davy Grant chant. I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you were watching the Guru Bedtime collab, were with me, hooting and hollering, banging on the table. I have the lyrics right here for Davy Grant, but we were singing the Davy Grant song. And I'm talking about how Davy Grant's got a fucking fire hydrant for a noggin. And I'm talking about how Jourdain, man, he's okay, but he's lost like half of his fights. Davy Grant looks crafty. He's got the physique of a craftsman. He's the most crafty person you could ever see. I mean, look at this guy, right? And I'll be honest, I know that Charles Jourdain is good. I've always respected his striking. I used to talk about him as a really good prospect as well. But he's looked kind of mediocre in some of his fights recently, even though he's coming off of a win. But Davy Grant, if you look at his last 10 fights, he's had a couple of fights where he's lost that I believe were robberies, like the fight he had with Daniel Marcos, the fight he had with Adrian Yanez. The only fight he's legitimately lost in the last 10 years was to Marlon Vera out of his last 10. And so I'm looking at Davy Grant like, this guy's, not only is he crafty, he's got a granite chin, and he's not really lost more than once in his last 10 fights. So I picked him to win. I was very confident, and I'm a Davy Grant fan, right? And Charles Jourdain just catches him with a flying knee early. I look at Davy Grant take the flying knee. I'm like, oh, this is a Davy Grant showcase. He's going to show his toughness. He's going to pull out the tricks. He's going to pull out the tools from the tool bag and show us his skills from the Davy Jones locker. And the next thing you know, Charles Jourdain catches him with another flush knee, sends Davy Jones flying with his Davy Jones locker, and puts him away. And it was a sad finish. Very sad finish. Hate to see Davy Grant get KO'd. I like Charles Jourdain. He's an entertaining fighter, but this one sucked to watch, I'll be honest, because for a long time I've been waiting for Davy Grant's moment. I've been waiting for this guy to have a big win where the MMA world, the UFC, has Davy Grant fighting in his backyard in the UK on a main card. He's getting the respect he deserves. And I feel like this was the win he needed in order to be in that position, in order to really get his flowers for all of the great work that he's done. And he comes up short. First time he's been KO'd in the UFC, so it was a tough one to watch. I'm a big Davy Grant fan. I'm sure a lot of you guys were rooting for him. But yeah, sick finish for Charles Jourdain. Let's get on to the next one. The Canadian Sean Strickland, Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. This was interesting. This was an interesting one. Kyle Nelson in the first round hurts Matt Frevola, almost finishes him. Matt Frevola is basically out. He clips him with a shot. You know Matt Frevola, chinny. He gets knocked out. That's the problem with Matt Frevola, is he's chinning. And Kyle Nelson hurts him early on. He's used to getting his decisions, but he has a big moment. We're thinking, oh my goodness, we're about to see Kyle Nelson get a finish for the first time in history. And Dan Miragliotta doesn't step in, despite the fact that Matt Frevola's got his eyes rolling around in the back of his head. I'm crashing out. Guru's crashing out big time. Bedtime's crashing out. We're all wondering why the hell he didn't step in. But it wasn't that we were wondering why he didn't step in general. It was why he didn't stop the fight sooner. We're all under the impression that he stops the fight, by the way. It's kind of coming back to me slowly. We all thought it was a TKO. The next thing you know, we're looking at both of these guys getting off the stools, and we're like, wait a second. Is this fight not over? Like, did Dan Miragliotta not stop the fight? Matt Frevola has an adrenaline dump. Who even won this fight? I don't even remember who won this fight. Oh, Kyle Nelson won. Kyle Nelson still won, but like, it looked like he got screwed out of a first-round KO. He still ended up winning. Both of these guys had a good scrappy second and third round. But this is a bit of a weird one as well. This was a sick fight. Kyle Prepolec versus Drew Dober. Drew Dober gets it done. There were some hairy moments for Drew Dober. Kyle Prepolec, he was going in here with a little bit of that Donald Cerrone type of beat. You know what I mean? He was landing a lot of 1-2s, high kicks behind the 1-2s. He was throwing a lot of high kick combinations like Donald Cerrone. He had the slow man's type of striking. He had that rusty kickboxing type of striking in this one. But Drew Dober, in the second round, was able to get a big moment, rocking Kyle Prepolec. This is another crazy fight. Drew Dober was able to edge it out. So, yeah, I'm happy that Dober got it done. A lot of people were suspecting that maybe this was the end of Drew Dober. But then again, Kyle Prepolec, like, you know, he had a gritty moment against Benoit Saint-Denis. I didn't think there was much of a reason to pick him, but then again, this is a really good fight. A lot closer than most people, including myself, expected. And I think he should be given another shot to have another UFC fight. So, this was an entertaining one. Got this one wrong, too. I did horribly on picks. I picked Cody Gibson to outpoint Ariel Colang. And Ariel Colang went out there and slept him bad. Cody Gibson was, like, out cold in midair. Hits the ground. He's out cold. He's in corpse guard. And Ariel Colang lands a couple of follow-up shots. Savage finish from Ariel Colang. Brutal finish. And then here we go. Another one. Bruno Silva. I was cracking up at this one. Bruno Silva. I've clowned this guy a lot. All right. I've said, how the heck has this guy been able to even get into the rankings? Where did he come from? Who did he beat? You know, he seems like he just kind of fluked himself into the picture, getting into a couple of big main events. And I picked Young Sung Park. Young Sung Park has had a lot of good finishes on the ground. He's got a submission game. He lost to Taida, but has 4 finishes outside of that. And Bruno Silva wins. He gets it done with his big, gnarly right hand and his hive of volcanoes on his back. He showed up with about 100 volcanoes on his back. Never seen that before, and I've seen Bruno Silva fight before. But Bruno Silva gets it done and actually out-grappled Young Sung Park in moments as well. So, had a big moment. Bruno Silva proves me wrong. Really good stuff for him. Danny Barlow versus Jourdain Santos. Another good fight. This was another war. I don't know what's going to get fight of the night. There was a lot of them. But yeah, Jourdain Santos kind of went out there early with the Yuri Prohaska type of movement. Very herky-jerky, very awkward. Moving his hands everywhere, just overstimulating Danny Barlow. And second round, when we think that Jourdain Santos is just going to start mogging Danny Barlow, that Barlow doesn't look good, Barlow starts doing his thing. He starts landing some good combinations, some good counters. Arguably wins the second round, but Jourdain Santos edges out the third round, gets it done. This was a good fight as well, another good fight. And then Stefiano Luciano versus Ravina Oliveira. I forget who I picked to win that, but let's get to Azamat Murzakanov. Let's get to Azamat Murzakanov, man. Azamat Bakoyev. I was calling him Azat Bakoyev. I don't know why, but Azat Bakoyev versus Yusri Belgaroui. I picked Azat Bakoyev. I picked Azamat Bakoyev to get this one done. He's had a couple of emphatic finishes, big ground and pound moments, and Yusri Belgaroui, you know, didn't have that much success on the Contender Series. Did have one win, but didn't really stand out that much. He had some hype because he was a training partner of Alex Pereira. If you see any of Alex Pereira's training videos or vlogs, you'll always see Yusri Belgaroui with him. He's like one of his head training partners. one of his main training partners, former Glory kickboxer as well. He's fought Adesanya. He's fought Pereira. This guy's legit on the feet. We all know it. But I just thought Azamat Bakoyev was going to be able to take him down and have like a big ground and pound moment. But Yusri Belgari's takedown defense held up, and his jab looked unbelievable. His knees, clearly a striking difference. Azamat Bakoyev stood in there tough. He took a beating. He didn't quit. He took a beating in this fight, but Yusri Belgari just too slick on the feet. Again, landing the jab at will. Probably landed like 30 jabs around. Clean jabs. Probably landed like 20 knees to the body. Clean as well. And had moments where he had Azamat Bakoyev out on his feet as well, where Bedtime, Guru, and I were all thinking that, you know, maybe we were about to see a finish. So really good win for Yusri Belgari. I think he's a really good addition in the middleweight division. And you know what? We've seen this. We've seen this before where guys struggle early on in their UFC career, even though Yusri Belgari, this was his debut, but, you know, he struggled a little bit on the Contender Series. Looked amazing in this fight. Looked really confident. And proving takedown defense against a competent grappler like Azamat Bakoyev, that's a big deal. So if he fights a striker next, even though he got outstruck by Marco Tulio, and Marco Tulio is very good. He is a beast himself, but if he fights a striker next, I'm picking Yusri Belgari. And if he fights a grappler that is not someone of the level of Reinier de Ridder, Brendan Allen, whatever, I'm going to go with Yusri Belgari as well. So, first fight of the night, Melissa Croton versus Tanera Lisboa. Bit of a slow one, but also, no, that wasn't a slow one. It was Stephanie Luciano versus Oliveira that was a slow one. This one was actually a scrappy fight. This one was actually a good fight. So, shout out to both of these women for putting on a really good fight. Yeah, I did horrible on picks. I went 3-10 on picks. I got 3 picks right, 10 picks wrong. There were a lot of fights on this card. And I'm still kind of shocked with how Reinier de Ridder just threw in the flag at the end. Like, waved the white flag, and that was it. So, either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the collab that I did with Bedtime and MMA Guru as well. I had a lot of fun. And, hope we provided you guys some entertainment. So, until next time.